What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about 3 different grayscale trusts in this video. We're going to talk about LTCN, BCHG, and GLNK today. We're going to go over the corresponding cryptos first, and then like their underlying assets, and then we'll get into the grayscale trusts afterwards. Okay, so here we are. Hit the like button, subscribe. Here we are at $113. By the way, shout out to K Carvel for the request. You said Litecoin's been looking frisky lately. We're going to do a short-term analysis. Absolutely, my man. I got you. So here we are looking at, and we're going to do a little bit more in your honor, sir. And shout out to Paul O on that note as well. Paul, you're always awesome, man. You guys are both awesome. High to low here. Whenever we do this, let's see. Golden ratio support down or up to the 886, back to the golden ratio. If I had to guess, looking at Litecoin here, I would very much doubt that we go below this golden ratio line. Okay, I would very much doubt that. A little bit of volume coming in here. Yeah, we've moved down. If anybody's wondering, is this a head and shoulders pattern? I wouldn't say it is. No, your top side is very symmetrical, but the bottom side is not at all. It's the volume even looks perfect, but it's almost like it wants to be a head and shoulders, but it's not. If that makes sense, I don't believe that it's a head and shoulders at all. We've had a lot of like false head and shoulders and inverse head and shoulders looks with Litecoin actually, right? Like here's one, you have the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and you came down, but it wasn't a head and shoulders. You actually went up, right? The left side was a little bit lower, or the right side was a little bit lower than the left side. The right side was a little bit higher than the left side. It just wasn't right. Even on the inverse side, you had this kind of slanted inverse head and shoulders here, but again, it just wasn't. The right shoulder was too weird compared to the left shoulder. Anyways, it's possible that we go lower, but it's very possible that today at $111.9 that we found support. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame. You said short-term analysis, so let's do that for each of these, okay? The 1 hour RSI, bullish divergence is being formed. Overall bearish though. Stochastics look bullish at the moment, and the MACD has bullish divergence as well. I'm comfortable with this being the low. Yeah, I'm very comfortable with that being the low. Let's look at the 4 hour time frame and just see if we can come up with anything based off this fib from a low to a high. You're very close to that golden ratio. High to a low. Very, yeah. I think you found your low. If not, maybe you go to 111, 110 bucks, 110.50 at the lowest, but I don't think you go too much lower. Your volume's not really coming in as you're moving down. That's a nice bottoming candle. You just need a little bit more of a reaction. Let's get some more oomph under this, right? Hopefully tomorrow grows. Hopefully you grow going into the FOMC meeting. I think that'd be nice to see. A little volatility here, whatever. But you're at an area to find support. Again, if you go a little bit lower, I wouldn't be worried, right? Even if you go below this low, I wouldn't be worried. But you'd probably find support around that low, if not just below this low, somewhere in between. Looking at the 1 hour, at least it looks like that. The 4 hour here, you do have lower lows there, but all in all, you're in an area to find support. You've been finding support here. I think you look fine, man. Stochastics look bearish. The MACD is at a point to bounce. You're at a point to bounce in the RSI and the MACD, and even the stochastics. You don't really stay in the oversold zone longer than what you're doing here, right? Like a little bit of time here and there. You don't really stay like this. This is like the extent of what you see is like how long you've been here now. So if you move down, maybe tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, but going into the end of this week, I think that you'll continue to move up. Again, do be aware of the FOMC meeting on the 17th. There might be some fluctuations around that day. We might pump into that day, dump out of it, and then pump into the end of the week, going into the end of the month. That'd be my expectations, okay? I very much would expect that we see Litecoin here going into the end of this month. Let's see, from a high. Oh, that was not the high. Let's get the low in here, though. High to low. I very much think that we do see prices that are either at 147 or pressing higher, okay? And again, once we break out of this, you guys, once you move higher, I wouldn't say that you're breaking out necessarily as soon as you get above this high. But once you get above about like 175, once you break this kind of trajectory line here, this higher high line here at about like 170, 180, once you break above that, you should be breaking out and moving at a very fast pace. Everything that you've seen thus far this cycle will pale in comparison to what's coming. You're going to see a move. It's going to make you believe in Litecoin again. It's going to make the whole damn space believe in Litecoin again, right? It's the same kind of, what's the word I want to look for? It'll be the same kind of realization that people had with XRP or XLM, right? Oh my God, it's not a dead project. It's actually still doing well. It's going to be the same realization, but by that time, it's going to be too late. You're going to get a move that's going to be absolutely massive between now and the end of the year, but I think it starts really not once you see new highs, but once you get above about like 175, okay? LTCN, if Litecoin's moving up that much, right? If we're moving up, let's say, and I do think, 175 or higher, 57%, I would think that you're going to your all-time highs, if not higher than that, by the end of the year, right? Or by the end of the year, but by the end of October, we're thinking you're going to be at, was it 700 or what was it? Let's see, high to low here. 800 or higher. That's a 7x, man. LTCN, let's see. Is LTC ETF getting approved? What was this? Trump's coming to Britain. He'll get a spectacular royal welcome, but no cheering crowds. Yeah, I doubt that. They'll probably be cheering crowds. They're just not going to report it, right? Just like the 110,000 people that were marching, right? They just won't report what's actually happening. Wouldn't it be funny if they voiced over like silence, and then you see someone going, yeah, and they just voice over silence. Nobody's cheering for Donald Trump today. Everybody in the country is has come together for King Charles, but I can't do a good English accent. Every time I do an English accent, people from England make fun of me. They say that's not English. They're like, I don't know what that is, but it's not English. Whenever I do it for Americans, they're like, oh yeah, that's an English accent, but I can't get it right. A spot of tea. I don't know. Anyways, shout out to the people from England. We love you guys. Anyways, according to Bloomberg Intelligence, Litecoin ETFs have a 90% chance of approval. That doesn't. By the way, guys, Bitcoin for multiple cycles had a 90% chance of approval, and it didn't get approved like the first dozen times. So I wouldn't really focus on that. June 3rd. No. Come on, let's see. Approval status. Let's see. Approval date. Let's see. Final rulings expected by September 2025. Let's see. A lot of you probably already know this, but let's see. On Canary filing. Public comments are due May 6, 26. Why? Why isn't it more relevant? Is it not happening? Let's just see. News. And then we'll do it to where it's sorted by date. Yeah. We'll get the most early one. 5 highs, 5 months highs. Might not matter. Spot ETF conversion is delayed with SEC approval now expected by October. But the NAV discount has really nearly vanished. Yeah. That sounds bullish to me. I love seeing negative news, actually. From Seeking Alpha? Yeah, especially. Let's see. Hold on. Market sentiment for a Litecoin ETF is lukewarm. I don't want a free account. Do I have to have an account in order to read this stuff? That's not fair. I'll have to do that then at some point. Anyways, so no ETF right now. That was a waste of time, or a little bit of a waste of time, but we at least figured out that there's no ETF right now. They're saying that it's likely going to get approved in October, but again, I wouldn't think that means it's going to get approved. Just because these market analysts, these experts say it's going to get approved doesn't mean it will. 9 out of 10 of the ETFs that were supposed to get approved for Bitcoin, they never got approved, so I'm not really holding to that. If LTC, if the markets are expecting that LTC will have an ETF and that LTCN would have an ETF, then I would then expect that at least if Litecoin is moving up a 7x, LTCN would move up a 7x. Which would then imply, even with the ETF, and let's see, how far away are you from your NAV? Let's go here. Come on now. Come on. Ball with a ball to bang, diggy, diggy. Let's see. Total expense ratio, NAV asset value, net asset value per share, 938, right? Market price, 919. So it's actually lower than its NAV. So then with that, if Litecoin moves up, LTCN would move up just a little bit more, right? But 617% to its first target, I'd very much expect then that by the end of October, if not certainly by the end of the year, LTCN should be at higher prices. Even if the ETF comes out. And if the ETF comes out, I think it would be clearly it'd be more bullish for LTCN if there was no ETF. But maybe not. Maybe not, because at this point in time, with how things have gone with like GSOL and the Bitcoin Trust and the Ethereum Trust as well, people might be shaken from these grayscale trusts because of that, right? Because if that difference goes away, if the premiums go away overnight just because of ETF approval, and they've announced that they want to shift all these into ETFs, it might actually be more bullish for LTCN to have a grayscale announcement, because then it'll just move up with Litecoin or an ETF announcement. I don't know. I don't know. If Litecoin moves up, you would expect LTCN to move up too. If Litecoin moves up 617% by the end of the year or by the end of October, somewhere in that time frame, and there's no ETF, then it's very possible that LTCN sees higher targets than that. But again, from a high to a low, I don't know how much these fibs are going to help us anymore, because these fibs are based on premiums and discounts, right? What's the opposite of a premium? Is it a discount? What is it? It's the disparity. I forget what the word is. Is it discount? Sale? It's on a discount. It's on a premium. It's on a, I think discount is the word. I don't know. It's not at a well, whatever. I might be forgetting the word, whatever it is. But maybe there's no word and I'm just making that up in my head. But the high to low here, assuming that the ETF gets approved, these fibs don't really matter anymore. It'll just matter what Litecoin does in itself. So we could say that if there is no ETF, it's very feasible that LTCN goes to $101, and that's a very feasible target to have, not just by the end of October, but maybe by the end of the year. But something in that kind of range is what I would expect. You're consolidating now. You look bullish. You definitely do look bullish. You found your low. It's different, right? You can see that you found resistance here. Just notice how every step of the way here you found resistance at that high, resistance at that high, resistance here, resistance there, resistance there, resistance there. Here, you're consolidating. You're doing a little dance, making a little love. You're going to get, well, up tonight. Bow, 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 bow. You're going to be moving up. I think you're just waiting on Litecoin, right? So whenever Litecoin moves, you'll make a move. That's essentially that. I like the 3-day RSI. I don't like the 3-day stochastics. I like the 3-day MACD. I like the weekly stochastics. I like the weekly RSI. The weekly MACD looks like it's about to shape up to do well. Maybe not this next week, but the week after. I mean, soon enough, you're going to be moving up at a very fast pace. So that's LTCN. Short and skinny of it, right? I do think that you're going to see some immaculate growth in a short amount of time. I do expect Litecoin at a minimum to see a $2,000 target, which then would translate at least to an 18x for LTCN by the end of the cycle. At a maximum $15,000 target, which is like a crazy amount of growth for Litecoin. But crazy things can happen, you guys. Somebody asked what the how I knew that Litecoin had the third or second highest merchant acceptance in crypto. I just asked what amount of, or how many merchants accept BTC. You type that in. Oh, come on. I want AI mode. Let's go that. Let's do that. Yeah, come on. Thinking. It's taking too long. Normally it just tells you the number. I don't know why I didn't tell you there. Maybe I should just redo it. Do we have a... Why doesn't it tell you? Give me a number. I'm just going to say, give me a rough estimate in numerical form. Okay. I love that I can do this. You know, most videos I feel like I have to be more put together, but this kind of like slow research that I'm doing with you guys right now, it's not even like research, but just like answering questions. I feel like the Grayscale crowd, you guys are a little bit more chill. 15,000 to 30,000 business, right? Okay, cool. One report citing 15,000. Let's look at the low end, 15,000. Okay. What about ETH? Thinking. Rough estimate. Do I have to say that? Rough estimate in numerical form, please. I don't want all your key considerations and stuff. Give me a freaking number. Give me a number. Okay. I'm just going to move on from this if it keeps taking this long, man. Grok might be faster. Oh, hold on now. Accepting. No, okay, so it just doesn't understand. I don't care. Well, if you ask Grok, just ask Grok what the top 3 here. Let's see if I could just do that. I don't know why I didn't just use Grok. Okay. What are the top 3 cryptos by merchant? This is really a pain in my butt. Merchant acceptance. Let's just go. Here we go. There's that. And while that loads, we can move on. Okay, LTC. That was a real flop. BCH here. BCHG here. Yeah. Let's see what you're looking like. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether. Well, hold on now. No. Is it Tether? Okay, let's see. How many merchants accept USDT? How many merchants accept LTC? Let's see. Because I'm curious. Because if it's not the 3rd, it's the 4th. But even if Litecoin's the 4th, I think that's okay, right? I mean, it's like number 20 on the coin market cap list. If Litecoin were to jump to number 4 on the rankings, that'd be massive. That'd be absolutely massive, right? The main point there was just addressing that Litecoin can see immense growth, and I think that if this merchant acceptance is realized, let's just see here. Hold on. 19. Oh yeah, no, there's more merchants than that accept Litecoin. There's like 5,000. Let's see. 4,000. Yeah. So Grok's broken. Both these AIs are broken. With total crypto merchants exceeding 10,000. LTC is a top currency there. Yeah. Over 100 businesses. Dude, I'm just telling you guys. Yeah. Estimated direct merchants. Look at that. Right. And that's what's great. People look up merchant acceptance. They don't even know about Litecoin because they're going to get the wrong information. It's a sleeper. But anyways, Litecoin's got a lot of potential, guys. Anything from, I would think, a 20x to over 100x potential. And if that's translated, whether an ETF gets approved for LTCN or not, you're going to see that same growth reflected, okay? And magnified at an amplitude higher if there is no ETF. Maybe not, though. I don't know. You know, the thing is, at this point in time, for LTCN, again, I really think, and even for BCHG, I think it might be better if the ETFs get approved, because even if they don't get approved, unless there's some kind of definitive, nope, it's not happening, we're not going to approve it for 5 years or a year, there might not be attraction to these trusts, because the premiums aren't going to get that high if people are scared that they could just get wiped away like that from a news report, right? It might be better to just get the ETFs, suck it up that you're not going to get the premiums, and just float on with the underlying assets. I don't know, because if not, as we already see, LTCN is below its NAV price. I don't know about BCHG, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's similar or could get to that level as well. Because why buy this thing when you could just buy the underlying asset? Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. But I do believe that they're both going to get ETFs. I personally do believe that. So it's just a matter of time. And in which case, if they are under NAV price, it might be worth investing in, because then, hey, you're getting a discount. And when they get those ETFs, it'll be more, I don't know. That kind of makes sense to me. $593 right now. Bitcoin Cash here, looking like it wants to rally. Looking like it really does want to rally, you guys. We're right here. We're on the precipice. I made a video yesterday talking about it, so I'm not going to get too in depth. But looking at the daily RSI, it's one of the most bullish daily RSIs that we've seen, really, going over any crypto over the past month or two. This is immaculate behavior. Stochastics look bullish. I don't like that we rejected the overbought zone with this. We have 50 minutes left in this daily time frame. We're down 1.3%. A lot can happen in 50 minutes. We can absolutely come back up and close this day green. I would love to see that, but rejecting the overbought zone is not ideal, but it happens. Sometimes you reject it and you still find support at the 50. Maybe we come down a little bit, down to 580, or even just below there, or just above there, and then we come back up over the coming days, right? The MACD bouncing off the zero is nice. I like the MACD. RSI and the MACD look great. The stochastics even look great, but just momentarily bearish, okay? Short-term bouncing off the C, but that looks good. I don't know. We have 49 minutes left. It depends on what we do. Overall, I'm definitely bullish on Bitcoin Cash. We're expecting big moves to happen for BCH here, and the moves that are going to correspond with this big move, I'm anticipating that we see an $1,800 price at least. Okay, something like right around there, which is a 200% growth. If not there, I mean, man, we really could, you guys. We really could see a move that takes us all the way up to our all-time high area. Maybe it's 2,800, 3,000. Maybe it's all the way up at 4,000. I don't know. I don't know how to appropriately gauge this. By the end of the year, I would very much expect that we're at our all-time high area. If not at new all-time highs by the end of the year, but by the end of October, at least above this high, if not higher. It's hard to say. Let's throw some fib targets on there. High to low. Come on now. There we go. At the low. High to low. I mean, what if we're all the way up here? I don't know. I would think at least 1,800, maybe at most 3,700. Is that what we're running with? I guess I don't know. Crazy growth. Hold on now. Let me fix this real quick. There we go. There we go. Okay. It's just rough estimations. Why am I saying 200%? Why am I saying just above that? Because I do think that we'll take out that high by the end of October at least. We take this high to low here, and you're at your 1,886, 200 level. I mean, maybe 1,300 at the least. I don't think Bitcoin Cash, which has outperformed a lot of altcoins this cycle, I don't think that it's going to underperform the average altcoin here. So I would at least expect a 200% move, right? Based off of what we expect the average altcoin to do, which is anything from, I think it was a 2.7x or 2.5x to a 4x. A 3x move for Bitcoin Cash puts it like right at average. I would think that we're going to see something like that, if not more. Okay, $1,800, 200% growth, which would translate. Let's look at Bitcoin Cash on the Grayscale Trust. Screw it. Let's just see what we're dealing with here as far as the NAV goes. Because if Bitcoin Cash starts doing well, you would assume that the premium would come back, right? 420, baby. All right, let's see. NAV is 491. Market price is 420. So yeah, that's a good opportunity, man. I mean, honestly, if not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but at this point, if you're looking to buy Bitcoin Cash, you might consider buying the discounted Bitcoin Cash. I'm just saying. Unless the ETFs aren't getting approved. If the ETFs don't get approved, then that's a problem. But I wouldn't be surprised in the least if ETFs got approved for Bitcoin Cash. If not by the end of this year, by the end of this cycle. So BCH moves up 200%. BCHG, if there's no ETF yet, likely moves up more than 200%. How much more is the question? Do we move up 250%? Do we move up 300%, 400%? I don't know. You know? And again, correlating this with its prior high, it just, to me, it doesn't make sense that by the end of October, Bitcoin Cash is below this high, but Litecoin's above it. So I really do think this is a conservative target. I think that we'll see higher prices, but time will tell. Let's get there first, right? Again, the reason why I think we're going to see dramatically higher targets is because I'm invested in this. It's one of my biggest bags, so I want to see it go higher. No, that's not why. It's because we've seen multiple cycles of consolidation. We're on the precipice of seeing the breakout move. We have a lot of signals that are showing that we're going to see the biggest move, if not the second biggest move of this cycle. The biggest move is back here. And sorry, not this cycle, it's life. The biggest move is back here. I really wouldn't be surprised at all if this is the biggest move that we've ever seen in Bitcoin Cash's existence. And if that happens and there's no ETF, I mean, it's very possible BCHG goes to even higher prices, right? If Bitcoin Cash does a 400% growth, BCHG could do a 500% growth or more, maybe an 800% growth, right? And throughout this phase here, every 10% that Bitcoin Cash grew, this thing grew like 30 to 60%, right? It was like a 3 to 1 or 6 to 1 ratio of growth. So whenever I'm doubling it, I feel like I'm being kind. I don't know, or being conservative, let's say. High to low. 236 finding support. Let's just keep our feet on the ground for now and set ourselves up for surprises, not for discouragement. Okay, I would think at least we're at 420 now. We're at least going to be at $14 to $18 by the end of October. At most, maybe $45 or higher, but I don't know. By the end of the year, I really truly wouldn't be surprised at all if this is at $45 to $105, but time will tell. Okay, somewhere here by the end of the year, somewhere here by the end of October. If I'm wrong on this, I would expect that we're only higher by the end of October, and maybe even higher by the end of the year, but time will tell. Okay, for BCHG. It's a little bit trickier, again, with these ETFs looming. The fact that the NAV price is gone, that you're on a discount, that you're below your NAV price, that's whatever the opposite of a premium is. Would it be discount? And is that just the word and I'm just not accepting it? I don't know. GLNK here. GLNK. Come on now. Come on, Chainlink. We'll go to GLNK here. Oh, it's loading too. It's probably best to wait for the underlying asset anyways. So GLNK here at $23. We look at you on a weekly basis. Clearly in a bullish formation. Clearly it is. Weekly RSI, stochastics, MACD all look phenomenal. They all look good. Daily time frame. You add an area to bounce on the MACD, on the RSI, and on the stochastics. So all good there. Let's see if you are going to bounce. Let's look at the 4-hour time frame. I think you're going to bounce here, man. That's great. If not, where could you go? Let's just see real quick. Hold on. The lowest I'd give you is just below 20. You're at $23 now. The lowest I'd give you is just below 20, but I doubt you get there. You found support at your 236. I doubt you get there, right? If Chainlink goes to 20 bucks, the rest of the market's going to see a 20% drop as well, right? Or more, right? That's what that would imply. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, maybe, and if it happens, great. Enjoy the discount while it comes. We'll move down and then we'll move up at a very fast pace, but I don't see it happening. I'm very confident that the market has kind of found its lows. So I think this is a higher low. Low to high, I mean, you're bouncing right off your golden ratio. That's an immaculate reaction, by the way. It's the exact kind of reaction you want to have. We're not out of the woods yet, but I think you found your low. So if you found your low, you're going to move higher, right? 23.6. If we're looking at the relative high here to the relative low, I would expect that Chainlink goes, you're at $23.60 to $42 to $61. That's your next target area, but probably beyond both of those areas. You probably hit something in your secondary target zone, 83 to 130. I doubt that you get all the way up to 190. I do expect that Chainlink's about to see a very bullish move this cycle too. Not the most bullish move it's ever seen in its life, but the most bullish move of this cycle. You'll probably see new all-time highs, and in which case, let's just see from a high to a low. I think it's possible that Chainlink reaches for 100 but doesn't see prices above 100 by the end of October. By the end of the year, you probably do see prices over 100. So with that, you're at like 300% growth or more. If Chainlink's at 300% growth or more, GLNK, what's GLNK here? GLNK Grayscale. Let's see. It's probably at a premium, right? Because Chainlink's doing well, where Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin are kind of stagnant. Let's just see. NAV price 20.83. Wow, you're at 42.83. So that's awesome. Let's see. What about Chainlink? What about Link ETF approval? Approval date? We'll just say approval. While no Chainlink ETF has been approved yet, asset manager Bitwise is actively seeking ETF approval or SEC approval for a spot Chainlink ETF with the SEC on August 26th. So you actually moved up. So that's kind of nice, right? That actually kind of pokes a hole in my theory. There's companies wanting to have an ETF approved, and they've filed for this recently, not even a month ago. And you're still at like a 2-to-1 premium. That's nice. That pokes holes in my logic there, doesn't it, right? We could still, maybe it is better that there is no ETF. Because Chainlink's a pretty big crypto. It's bigger by market cap than BCH or LTC, isn't it? Let's see. Yeah, it's bigger than both of them. So hey, maybe I'm wrong, and that's great, right? And in the best case scenario, no ETFs get approved, and your premiums can actually skyrocket. Because even here, with a proposed ETF less than a month ago from Bitwise, a very successful crypto company and very serious company, I mean, this is possible to get approved. And it's got a higher market cap. You would just think if this thing is having a 2-to-1 ratio on its premium and a little bit over that even, you would think that BCH, maybe we're not bullish enough on BCHG or LTCN, guys. Maybe everything that I thought is just too conservative and we're actually going to go to dramatically higher prices. I don't know. I kind of wish I did GLNK first now. But looking at this here overall, a lot of volume came in. You look like you're ready to break out. You do look like you want to go higher. We're probably just waiting on Chainlink, right? If Chainlink moves up 300, let's just see what Chainlink's done, right? So from its low in April to its high in August, you did 175% growth. And that same kind of area, right, from April's low, we'll say May, sure, April, right here, late May or early May to here, you did 470% growth. So 470 to 175. Again, am I fair by doing like a 2x instead of more? I think I'm fair on doing that. So we'll do a 2x, right? If it did over a 2x, then Link here going to 300%, let's say let's say at a minimum 250 to 300. and then probably more than that by the end of the year, but 200 to 300% by the end of October. You would then think that GLNK does something that's double that, so 400% or more. You're at your all-time highs or higher. You're at $215 to $300 by the end of October, and likely dramatically higher prices than that by the end of the year. That's fantastic. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. What I will say, because it's really easy to get discouraged when you're holding LTCN and BCHG for a long time. Those are your primary bags, and you see GLNK doing well. It's really important to not sell your boring bag for the exciting bag, okay? If GLNK can get a 2-to-1 premium, then I have a lot of faith instilled that BCHG and LTCN can still see these premiums grow as well. And the worst thing to do would be to switch that one for GLNK just because GLNK's doing better right now. Don't get distracted. I think BCHG, I genuinely believe more now than I have in a while. We're not bullish enough on these trusts. And we'll see. Even if I'm wrong, even if there's no premium, they're all below NAV price right now. So whenever the assets underlying do well, and they will do well very soon, they're going to see the biggest moves they've seen in years happen in the next couple of weeks, couple of months going into the end of this year. Even if there is an ETF, it's still going to outperform. It's still going to do phenomenal things in comparison to the rest of the crypto markets, okay? Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but that's nice to see with GLNK. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourself. One last shout out to Kay Carvel, and shout out to Paul O as well. Shout out to everybody. Love you all. Shout out to the E-Gang, Ethan Galstad. Hope everybody's doing well. I need to say hi in the Discord, man. Yeah, thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.